What's up, everybody? This is Prepper Princess. Today I wanted to talk to you about the true 1%, and I want to put out something different out there, which is the 20%. So let's get to it. All right, folks, so if you make $34,000 per year, you are the top 1% of the world. You're rich if you make 32,000. I think it's 32. Let me double check that. 32,000. Yep, 32,000 per Quora.com. If you make 32,000, you are in the top 1%. But I do want to share a couple of stories with you. By the way, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to help me with the YouTube algorithm. And check out my book, Living on Almost Nothing. I will leave a link in the description below. But I wanted to talk to you, first of all, about windfalls, lottery winnings, inheritances. And then I wanted to talk to you about some friends or acquaintances that I've had that have completely demolished any finances they may have had. Now, as you know, 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, okay? 80% of people who win the lottery are broke within 2 years. 80% of people who have an inheritance have squandered it within, I believe it's 3 years. So this all pretty much brings us to the fact that the majority of people do not have any financial education whatsoever. We all know what we're supposed to do. We know what we should be doing with our money. The problem is that nobody does it. It's just like weight loss. You know how to lose weight. Calories in, calories out, deficit, then you lose weight. Same thing with money. Money in, money out, spend less out, you save money. That's the way that money works. It's really 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade math, and nobody understands it. Now, let me tell you a couple of stories. First and foremost, all of my adult life, with the exception of 1 year, I have owed a minimum of $4,000 or more every time I do my taxes. I hear stories from coworkers of mine. They're like, I'm getting $8,000 back. I'm getting $9,000 back. One was like, I'm getting $14,000 back. And I'm thinking in my head, God, that must really be nice. And I try not to let jealousy get in the way. But I'm like, wow, I wish I had a $13,000 tax refund. And then it's like, what are you doing with your tax refund? Oh, I'm going to pay off some of my debt, not all of it, and go to Disneyland. That's pretty much like what people tell me, is like they're spending their money on fun. They're not paying off their debt because these people are not financially educated. Like I said, 8 out of 10 people, 80% of the population is not financially educated. Another friend of mine, she was married and inherited a house free and clear and some money. And 7 years later, they were declaring bankruptcy. Even though they had a paid-for house, both of them had full-time jobs. They inherited some money along with the house. And when you inherited a house, it's not always free and clear. So when I inherited my mom's house, I had to pay what was remaining on the mortgage. I had to pay cash. I think it was around $40,000. Give or take, I don't remember the exact numbers. And then I had to put about $100,000 into repairs of the house, and then ended up selling it for $292,000. So I made about $150,000 after living there for 10 years. But doing the math, if I would have stayed in my small apartment, I would have actually been much further ahead. But that is neither here nor there. But the fact is that I had to pay for a portion of the inheritance, and I had to pay for repairs. In this house, my friend had to pay for no repairs and did not have to pay for any of the house. And 7 years later, they were broke and declaring bankruptcy. Another coworker of mine declared bankruptcy, long time ago. And she did almost all of, she packaged her lunch, her and her husband both worked, but first of all, she always had her hair done, her hair and nails were getting done probably once a week, if not more often than that. And occasionally she would come into work and be like, look what my husband bought me. And it was like a $3,000 purse. And, come a couple months later, she's talking about declaring bankruptcy again. And this is not because they didn't earn enough money. She always said, just have somebody come in and pay my bills and I would be fine. I would do it. Well, you already declared bankruptcy and you didn't learn your lesson the first time. So you're more than likely not going to learn it a second time. Yet another coworker of mine, her and her husband declared bankruptcy. Not a week, and I don't even know how she did this because, they say that when you declare bankruptcy, like your credit's frozen and all this stuff. Not even a week after declaring bankruptcy, her and her husband bought a brand new Harley and RV, financed, of course. And again, I don't know how they did this. I don't know how you do that when you've declared bankruptcy. So, 8 out of 10 people are not financially educated. They either don't know how or they don't want to learn how to get out of debt and save money. Same thing with lottery winners. 8 out of 10 lottery winners squander their winnings within a few years. Now, I didn't know this person personally, but I knew someone who did. I knew someone who knew someone. It was a friend of a friend, my second cousin's baby's daddy. No, but it was a friend of a friend. He won $780,000 in a lottery, like the whatever state lottery. And he bought houses with the intention of fixing them up, ran out of money, couldn't fix them up, and then they went into foreclosure. He lost everything in 4 years. So, it's not just a matter of having a lot of money to pay off your debt. It's a matter of managing your money correctly, accurately, and purchasing assets instead of liabilities. Now, me personally, I had a really nice windfall. I believe it was during the 2008 financial collapse. I used to work for a bank, if any of you remember it, Washington Mutual. I used to work in the fraud department. I was a supervisor there, and they were bought out by Chase Bank. But what they did is, like, the Fed came in and stepped in and required them to be purchased by another bank. They didn't give them a chance to fix anything. And they were one of those predatory lenders. But what they did is they told us a year ahead of time that they were being bought out by Chase and there was going to be a year-long transition. But if you stuck with the company for a year, you would get paid regular. But at the end of the year, you would get a check for that full year of whatever you worked. So it was almost like double pay. And it would just be one big giant check at the end. And I remember that year, I worked tons of overtime, blah, blah, blah. And after the job was over, you were able to collect unemployment and all that stuff. But I got a check in the mail for, I think, like $27,000, $28,000. They taxed it at 40%. It was taxed like a bonus. And of course they didn't tell you that. But I got a $28,000 bonus, like around 2009, 2010. And this was right when the market was at the very bottom. And I don't remember if it was before or after I was debt-free. I'm sorry, the years, I'm old now. So the years kind of blend together in my early to mid-20s. But I took all that money and I invested it when it was at the bottom. And then, you know what I mean? Or that way. I can't tell by the way the camera is. But I invested at the bottom, and that $28,000, I didn't keep a single penny. I invested all of it. And that was my very first windfall that I've ever gotten. So I made sure to, I guess you could say, do the right thing. At the time, I wasn't looking into purchasing a house. I was just renting my apartment. And then after that job ended, I immediately got 2 jobs. You know, people talk about recessions all the time. But the thing is that when recessions happen, it seems to be when I have the most work. Right now, you know, we're technically in a recession, I guess you could say. I'm working, you know, I've got a job. I do YouTube, Patreon, I wrote a book. I've got a regular job that I commute to. And I don't know if it's because I'm willing to take the jobs that nobody else wants, or it's that I like the jobs that nobody else seems to want. But I'm never out of work during recessions. I seem to be out of work when there are no recessions and it's hard to get a job because all the jobs are filled. But I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, folks. But that is a small story of being sure that if you do receive some sort of windfall, a huge tax return, an inheritance, no matter how small it is, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, whatever it is, if you have debt, you should be putting it towards that debt. If you don't have debt, you should be putting it toward an asset, some sort of investment that's going to grow over time. As instead of buying a new car, a new boat, new clothes, all of those things depreciate in value the second you purchase them. It's just, those are just a few of the stories of the people that I know of. I have come across one person, I love you, Mama Lisa, if you're watching, where her husband had a pension with Ghirardelli and they squandered the pension, and now he's towards retirement age with nothing saved because he was relying on that company to take care of him in his elder years, and unfortunately that's just not going to happen. That is some seriously bad luck. That's not mismanagement on the part of the person. That's mismanagement on the company who promised to take care of them. And I think that, in my personal opinion, companies that screw over their employees on pension plans need to be held legally responsible for those people. That's just my personal opinion. But 8 out of 10 people do not handle their finances properly. And are you one of the 20%? And furthermore, if you make $34,000 a year or more, are you part of the 1%? So enough of this 1%ers stuff. I want to know if you are a 20%er. So, all right, folks, that's what I've got for you today. Don't forget, if you believe that you can or you believe that you can't, you are right. Prepper Princess out. One quick thing before I go. You are not going to win the lottery, so don't waste your money on it. You actually have a better chance of becoming President of the United States than you do of winning the lottery. Prince or Princess Charming is not going to come and rescue you. You are in charge of your own financial fate and your own financial future.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at you. Look at you. You're just begging for some attention. Yeah, my sweet boy. Oh, you're such a good boy. You're so cute. You're so cute. Yes. Spoiled boy. Oh, could gobble you up. You're so cute. Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you. You're such a good boy. Oh, so tired. Oh, yes. Yes, we had a long you-know-what today. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Mister's tired. Mister's tired. My sweet boy. Always wants to hold paws. My sweet boy. Mommy loves you. Go sleep. Yeah, you go sleep.